Good day everyone, we are the group 2 and we're going to talk to you about the new literacy, functional literacy, and multiliteracy. So in literacy, students are taught to read and write. A question first, why does a student or a person needs to be literate? So a person needs to be literate in order for her to understand new things that keeps on changing in our society. Since our world is become modern and more advanced, so students need to learn or adapt that changes in order for her to grow. So let's move on to the new literacies. So between 1950 and 1970, the development of literacy is both operational and functional. Since during this period, literacy was defined as reading and writing skills necessary to modern society. Since our world is keep on changing and more advanced and high technology has been implemented, so we need to adapt into that changes in order for us to grow and learn that advancement to our benefits. So beyond 1990s, literacy has started to diversify in the light of technological developments. Diversify means it is broadened, change of living conditions in cities and the new necessities, and it has been
Multifaceted.
so
Multifaceted.
means has many sides since changes has evolved or the changes has been made, so we need to adapt into that changes and learn its different sides. So Chris 2003 posited that literacy can only happen when having a kind of potential content through interaction with the text. So as you interact with the text, you learn how to read and write that certain text. Not just be able to read and write, but also to understand its meaning and how to produce certain ideas on how it's related or connected into other things. Although in a way, such meaning can be more relational, literal, or expressing solidarity or affinity with particular people, like understanding the internet, online practices, and online content. So according to the Primary English Teaching Association Australia in 2015, they assert that the 21st century literacy has expanded to include social change, increasing field expertise, and digital technologies. So they assert that 21st century has expanded into, and that includes social change. Since the way we communicate today has been more advanced, we use technology to communicate, just like texting, using cell phones, or chatting with just a click of your finger. So to be literate requires comprehension. It does not mean that you are able to read and write, you are a literate person. You need to understand what you read and you need to understand what you write. Selection and use of multimode codes and conventions to interpret and express ideas, feelings, and informations. So, in order for you to be literate, you need to learn how to interpret, express your ideas or feelings, and share your information you gathered. So Lender 2003 noted that the new literacies are often flexible, continuous, and open. Since our literacies is have a lot of changes, so the learning that we need to adapt is more or keep on changing also. So we need to adapt into that changes in order for us to learn new things and magamit natin ito sa ating pang-araw-araw na kabuhayan or magamit natin in the future. Since the new technologies enable and enhance these practices in a way that is highly complex and exciting for students. 'Di ba sa panahon natin ngayon ay marami nang gumagamit ng mga teknolohiya na kagaya ng mga teachers, they use technologies in using in discussing, just like making PowerPoints or any different strategies, but just with the use of technologies. So technologies has have a great impact in our society today. Now let's explore more the new literacies. So there are 7 literacies that are stressed in 21st century. First is multicultural literacy. So in multicultural literacy, it is about understanding ethnic groups that compromise the population and focuses on complex issues of identity and diversity of citizenship. So it is in our human mind that when we heard the word ethnic groups, we often to judge them. So without knowing their backgrounds or their history. So in multicultural literacy, it is a literacy where we can able to understand who are the ethnic groups, their history, their identity, their citizenship, their diversity. So in multicultural literacy, it is free of judgment. So next is social literacy. It is the development of social skills, knowledge, and positive values in human beings to act positively and responsibly. So from the word itself, diba, social literacy, it is enhancing the social skills and knowledge. So when we say social literacy, it focuses on having a interaction or a communication between people to be able to understand each other or to have gathered information that they can share and create a connection and a relation with each other. Next is media literacy, is the ability to access, analyze, evaluate, and create media. So in media literacy, we learn here that the creation of media, how to access and how to analyze, evaluate the media in a way that we can able to use it accurately. So next is financial literacy. It is the ability to make informed judgment and make effective decisions regarding the use and management of the money. So in financial literacy, we able to learn how to manage the money in using it appropriately and with a correct use or have a positive cause or effects in the daily lives of a person. Next is digital literacy, is the ability to effectively use digital devices for purposes of communication, expression, collaboration, and advocacy in a knowledge-based society. So in digital literacy, you will be able to learn how to use devices not just in purpose of entertainment or anything but also in communication. So it is very important things that we need to learn since the world is more advanced and high technology. Next is ecological literacy. It is understanding the principles of ecosystem towards sustainability. So in ecological literacy, you will learn how to prioritize or what is the importance of the environment in our daily life. So, in ecological literacy, it is about understanding nature, environment, or not other natural resources. So next is creative literacy, is the ability to make original ideas that have value and the ability to see the world in new ways. So in creative literacy, masusubok ang kakayahan ng ating imahinasyon to make original ideas and make it useful in the society. So the truth on 21st century literacies according to a research. So the National Council of Teachers of English 2013 came up with a research that reveals the following. So first is as new technologies shape literacies, they bring opportunities for teachers to foster reading and writing in more diverse and participatory context. So as new literacies have emerged, so the new learnings or the opportunities of a teacher being able to teach effectively is more high. So a teacher who learns how to operate technologies can teach diversely and participatory context. Second is sites the like literature's voice of the shuttle, online fan fiction, and the internet public library expand both the range of available text and the social dimensions of literacy. So when a teacher learns to operate technology, so it is easy for her to gather more informations and with just the use of internet. So when we browse the internet, so we will able to find a other things that a teacher should learn. So next is research on electronic reading workshop shows that they contribute to the emergence of new literacy. So as new literacies emerge, so the teachers need to adapt in that changes in order for her to teach effectively. So fourth is research also shows that digital technology enhance writing and interaction in several ways. So just like what I said earlier, that that technology helps in communications and a way of a communicating through social media platforms. So next is K to 12 students who write with computers produce compositions of greater length and higher quality, are more engaged with and motivated toward writing than those who do not write with computers. So 'di ba mas natututunan ng mga bata ngayon ang gumamit ng mga computers and writing their notes than just a traditional writing method. So, in college students who keep e-portfolios have a higher rate of academic achievement and overall retention rate than those who do not keep portfolios. They also demonstrate a greater capacity for metacognition, reflection, and audience awareness. So, in college students also, technologies is very important to them since the ang paraan ng pagpapasa nila ng kanilang mga portfolios ay ginagawa ito a one file. So, ang teknolohiya ay talagang kailangan sa pag-aaral nila dahil ito ay hindi lamang ito nagbibigay ng great impact but also a achievement in academics. 7 is both typical and atypical students who receive an online response to writing revise their works better than those participating in traditional method. So when students is revising his or her work, so it is easy for her with the use of technology. So meron tayong mga apps na ginagamit in revising or para malaman natin kung saan tayo nagkamali. Like, for example, grammar. So, when we use a Microsoft Word, so it shows where are the wrong grammar or the incorrect spelling. So, we may be able to revise it immediately. And for the next topic, I'm going to give the floor to my colleague, Miss Angie Lobetania.
So good afternoon everyone. So for the continuation of our topic, allow me to discuss about the functional literacy. So let's get started. So functional literacy, the term functional literacy was initially defined by UNESCO through William Gray in his teaching of reading and writing 1956. As adult training to meet independently, the reading and writing demands placed on them. It stresses the acquisition of appropriate verbal, cognitive, and computational skills to accomplish practical results and specific cultural depth as survival literacy and reductionist literacy. So, functional literacy, to make it simple, functional that is useful in the workplace, that is useful in the daily life of a person. If it is not useful in the daily life of person, then it's useless, okay? Wala siyang gamit. Like for example, if you asked your learners to memorize the BS3, if you want to have functional literacy, give them situations about environmental preservation because the tree is about environmental persecution you are showing in the poem. So the poet portray in the poem that seeing green is something that calms you and it connects with your spirit and it connects with your soul. So, referring to functional literacy, UNESCO states the following. First, literacy programs should be integrated to and curriculated with economic and social development plans. So, in everything that we do and whatever lesson we teach, it should be treated related to economic and social development platform. Teach them the skills, that will help them become a good worker in the future. Second, the eradication of literacy should begin with population actors which are highly motivated and need literacy for their own and their country's benefit. Second, the eradication of literacy should begin with population actors, which are highly motivated and need literacy for their own and their country's benefit. So, the goal of functional literacy is to eradicate illiteracy, and it should begin with the people. I repeat, eradication of literacy and work also when you design your plan. If I'm going to produce these people, I am producing citizens that will benefit something good into this society. We teach them the mathematics with values formation. So, gamitin nila sa tama yung mga tinuturo natin. It's not only knowledge that we are teaching. We should not also hone then to become people living with conscience, potential people. Third, literacy programs should be linked with economic priorities and carried out in areas undergoing rapid economic expansion. So, like for example, with this is in Greece 11 and 12 minutes section, workplace into jobs, future jobs. And one of example of this is work immersion. And I know we are experiencing that during our senior high school days. So, work immersion is really, really good for us to be able to prepare some skills and capabilities that we need to adapt and to help ourselves also to be able to enhance by communicating with others and to collaborate with them. So fourth, literacy programs must impart not only reading and writing, but also professional and technical knowledge leading to greater participation of adults in economic and civic life. So, kung mapapansin nyo, paulit-ulit yung economic because again, we are talking about the functional literacy nga. Fifth, literacy must be an integral part of the overall educational system and plan of each country. So, it's the work of the government, and on our part, as teachers, we should make sure that when we assess our plan, I think literacy, we integrated it into our planning. Hindi lang ito topic-topic, but again, ask yourself, I teaching functional literacy? So 6, the financial need for functional literacy should be met with various resources as well as be provided for economic investments. So, economic na naman. Kasi nga, functional literacy. Yung economic investment, magandang take-off yun sa TLE class during our junior high school. Pinagluluto tapos from the product, bebenta tapos i-present sa class. Yung kinikita, yung tubo, okay, yung natira, yung iba o hindi, then yung strategy and procedure sa paggawa. Then, knowing it's hands-on so that in the future, we know how to deal with business. 6. The financial need for functional literacy is 7. The literacy programs should aid in achieving main economic objectives, like for example, increase in labor productivity, food production, industrializations, social and professional mobility, creation of new manpower, and diversity of the economy. So, it's just the same with the others. So, yeah. Economics yung pinagpo-focusan dito. So, and that's I'm discussing earlier. So, I'm gonna proceed to the next. A new functional literacy aspects, called specific literacy, is becoming a trend in which the job of the students is analyzed to see exactly the literacy skills needed and those that we are only taught. So therefore, the specific literacy strategy is a planning tool that allows the literacy worker to focus on skills that are valued to the learners. So, here we go sa specific literacy. Okay, kanina functional literacy. Now, let's talk about the specific literacy. Specific. Okay, that's what you are and what you should learn in your course. It should be specific and nakikialam sa college ay ang yung Commission on Higher Education. Pero nire-review naman nila time to time yung content. Mga syllables galing sa kanila at ibibigay na saman sa school. So, okay. In a basic education, meron tayong senior high school. Specific yung learning dun. If you want to be an accountant, which is under sa ABM or the Accountancy Business Management, and that's what we mean by specific literacy. So that's specific dun in order to avoid your mismatch. So, why? It is because kasi dati nga, di ba, generalized, di ba? General yung course, lahat kukunin mo. At ang tanong, ito bang kinukuha mong course ay gagamitin mo in the future? So, it's only depends on you, on yourself. So let's proceed. Significance of this approach includes literacy that first, it starts in the workplace. So, nangunguna dito yung sa trabahoan natin, yung place ng pinagtratrabahoan natin. Second, uses a diagnostic approach. Third, identifies turning points in economic life that may act as an incentive to learning. Fourth, assesses the limits of a short-term intervention. And lastly, looks for generic skills. June's 2000 posited that functional literacy constitutes the second level of literacy next to basic literacy, in which literary and mathematical information and skills can be utilized in one's personal, social, economic, and cultural endeavors. So, according to Jones, functional literacy constitutes the second level of literacy, which is next to the basic literacy. For Junes, we're in literacy, mathematical information and skills can be applied both. Like for example, me, I'm concerning with studies, writing, and etc. My analytical and reasoning skills to help me solve problems and look for solutions. And skills I innate or I am inborn with, I can be applied together, whether in my personal, social, the way I interact with others, or shall I say collaboration with them. So next, in context, Kapar 1998 cites that a functional literate peer is someone who is one step ahead of literacy and maintains literary activity throughout his or her life. In order to keep living and effective aid accommodate him or herself to her surroundings. So it is therefore Hatch 2010 defines it based on the American Heritage College Dictionary or AHCD. Accordingly, the word functional means building capacity and literacy as reading and writing skills. So therefore, it is the capability to proficiently read and write that can be used in daily life routines. So when we say functional, it means nga, diba, building capacity. So building capacity in which it can increase the efficiency and effectiveness of organizations and individuals. It helps them to identify their strengths and weaknesses and develop strategies to improve their performance. And this can lead to improve better decision making and increase productivity of a person. So the Education for All Global Monitoring Report UNESCO 2006 states that functional literacy means the ability to make significant use of activities involving reading and writing. Skills that includes using information, communicating with others, and following a path of lifelong learner, which are necessary for the ability to express him or herself in daily life. So next, let's move on to the next slides. So we have there integration of new literacies in the curriculum. So to address the call for literacy in today's world, students must become proficient in the new literacies of 21st century technologies. The International Reading Association, or IRA, believes that literacy educators must have the responsibility to integrate information and communication technologies into their curriculum to prepare students for the future they truly deserve. So I have a question. So I have a question for you guys. How will you integrate new literacies inside? Okay, how will you integrate new literacies inside the classroom? So ang mga immersion at visuals. So by using imaginary or video, ang mga imahinasyon at visualization ng ilang mga bata ay nangangailangan ng tulong. Ang mga larawan at video ay maaaring magbigay ng isang bagong layer ang karanasan upang dalhin sa text na tumutulong sa mga bata na magkakaroon ng mas mahusay na idea ng mga karakter o kasangkot. At kung paano nangyari ang mga kaganapan sa isang kwento o isang bagong punto ng sangguniang pangkaisipan. At kung paano nangyari ang mga kaganapan sa isang kwento o sa isang bagong punto ng sanggunian ng pag-isipan. So, the importance of integrating new literacies in the curriculum is that students is able to understand that learning is a process. Yes, learning is a process, and it requires them to take ownership of their learning and value reading. Using new literacies eliminates students' frustrations and discouragement. While integrating new literacies in the curriculum is that students is able to come to understand that learning is a process. Yeah, learning is a process, right? So, and it requires them to take ownership of their learning and value reading. So, using new literacies eliminates students or learners' frustrations and discouragement. So, next slide. So, it's about the multi-rate learner or the multiliterate learner. Today, the internet and the other forms of information and communications technologies, or the ICT, are redefining the nature of reading, writing, and communication. New literacy skills and practices are required by each new ICTs as it emerges and evolves. Thus, these new literacies need to be integrated into the curriculum to prepare students for succeed civic participation in global environment. So, here we go. The multiliterate learner means having multiple skills. So the multiliterate learner means having multiple skills. Multiple, diba? From the word multiple, it has many skills. Or being literate in both technology and culture. So, a person is needed to be able to understand and function with numerous methods of communication. So, yeah. It has eight there, as you can see. So first, let's have teachers who use ICTs skillfully for teaching and learning. So skillfully means to be able to perform well, to have a procedure in order to understand the learner, and but as well the teachers also to be able to advance study on what are going to do in that specific ICT tools and equipments. So second, peers who use ICT's responsibility and who share their knowledge. Third, a literacy curriculum that offer opportunities for collaboration with peers around the world. So if you have been there, so grab them on. No, it's not about the time and koan, but it's all about how will you do them better day by day. So fourth, instruction that embeds critical and culturally sensitive thinking into practice, standards and assessments that include new literacies. Fifth, leaders and policymakers who are committed advocates of ICT for teaching and learning. And lastly, equal access to ICTs for all classrooms and students. So it should be fair and no bias. It should be fair, given to all classrooms to be able to students to access them and to experience them with learning. So, Shoro 2008 noted four common elements as broader dimensions of new literacies. To wit, first, the internet and the other ICTs require new social practice, skills, strategies, and dispositions for the effective use. So, it's said there that require the our practice and skills and how strategies on how we use them. And second, new literacies are central to full civic, economic, personal participation in global economy. Second, new literacies are central to full civic, economic, and personal literacies are central to full civic. So second, new literacies are central to full civic, economic, and personal participation in a global community. Third, new literacies rapidly change as defining technology change. So, ang new literacy daw it is rapidly change due to as we so third, new literacies rapidly change as defining technologies change. So as we are living today, as technologies evolves, it will also the rapidly change of the new literacies. So yeah, and fourth, new literacies are multiple, multimodal, and multifaceted. Thus, they benefit from multiple lenses seeking to understand how to better support the students in a digital age or digital world. Impact of new literacies on instruction. Additional changes are taking place in literacy instruction. Grisham and Wolsey 2009. Henry 2008 restated that engagement in literacy activities is being transformed today like at no other time in history, as students turn to the internet and the other information. Is the next slide will be the impact of new literacies on instruction. So, additional changes are taking place in literacies instruction. Grisham and Wolsey 2009. Henry 2008 restated that engagement in literacies activities is being transformed today like no one other than time in history, as students turn to the internet and other information communication technologies or ICT at increasing rates to read, write, and interact with text. They must develop new skills and strategies or new literacies to be successful in this multimodal, intertextual, and interactive environments. The internet has become the defining technology for today's youth and maybe the most important ICTs for students to learn how to manipulate successfully. So, like what I have said earlier, that it eliminates students' frustration and discouragement. Students receive encouragement to focus on themselves. and on improving their capabilities and weaknesses as well. So the focus of new literacies is not only know how to read and write. So to discuss about the multi-literacy is I'm going to give a floor to the next reporter. Thank you.
For further information, so let's discuss about multiliteracies in the educational reform. In a broader essence, the concept of 21st century skills is motivated by the belief that teaching students the most relevant, useful, in-demand, and universally applicable skills should be prioritized into these schools. It means that multiliteracies in the educational reform recognize that the traditional literacy skills are no longer sufficient in today's complex, interconnected, and technology-driven society. As such, students need to be taught different skills that should reflect the specific demand of a complex, competitive, knowledge-based, information age, technology-driven economy and society. So the teacher must taught their students the different skills that reflect the demands of society. So by that, the students will become ready to face their individual life. There is a boss. The schools and teachers should use a variety of applied skills, multiple technologies, and new ways of analyzing and processing information, while also taking initiative, thinking creatively, planning out the process, and working collaboratively in teams with other students. Educational strategies that include authentic, outcome-based learning, project-based learning, and performance-based learning tend to be cross-disciplinary in nature. Students complete a research project, create multiple technologies, analyze and process information, think creatively, plan out of the process, and work collaboratively in teams with other students. A goal from the key improvement strategies in students' learning is to enhance instructional capacity of leaders and teachers in the use of ICT in teaching, learning, assessment, and planning. Multiliteracy promotes critical thinking skills, encouraging students to evaluate information critically, discerning reliable sources from misinformation or bias. So let's proceed to the assessment of multiliteracies. Assessment moves from usual memorizations of facts and disconnected processes to demonstrations of understanding through application in a variety of contexts. Real-world audiences are an important part of the assessment process, including self-assessment. Assessment and multiliteracies in education involves evaluating students' ability to engage with and demonstrate proficiency in various forms of communication, including text, images, sound, and digital media. So next is preparing teachers for multiliteracies. New London Group 1996 underscored multiliteracies as multimodal ways of communication that include communication between and among other languages using diverse channels within cultures and ability to understand technology and multimedia. As such, applying multiliteracies to teaching offers a new classroom pedagogy that extend and help manage classroom. So, in preparing teachers for multiliteracies involves a comprehensive approach that encompasses pedagogy, professional development, digital literacy, cultural competence, and commitment to ongoing learning. By equipping teachers with the necessary skills and knowledge, they can effectively guide students in developing the diverse literacies and communication skills needed in the 21st century. Therefore, Newman 2002 and Biswas 2014 suggest that teachers integrate four components of multiliteracies in teaching. So there are four components of multiliteracies in teaching. The first one is situated practice. Situated practice leads students towards meaningful learning by integrating primary knowledge. Situated practice focuses on the connection between classroom topics and real-world experience. So next is overt instruction. Overt instruction guides students to the systematic practice of learning process with tools and techniques. So overt instruction focuses on the students' conceptualization and scaffolding of a new concept to provide a force for a new learning. So the third is critical framing. Critical framing teaches students how to question diverse perceptions for better learning experiences. So here in critical framing focuses on analyzing the sociocultural context in which a concept, literature, or a text was developed within the particular area. The last is transform action. Transform action teaches students to apply the lessons they learn to solve the real life problems. There is a transform action. Transform action focuses the previous three aspects, the situated practice, over instruction, and critical framing to encourage reflection and apply this teaching in a new context. Research shows that effective instruction in 21st century literacies takes an integrated approach, helping students understand how to access, evaluate, synthesize, and contribute to information. London Group, 1996. Teaching insists to first encourage students to reflect regularly on the role of technology in their learning. So since we are now in the 21st century education, we teacher, we encourage our students to use different technologies in their learning. Second, create a website and invite students to use it to continue class discussion and bring in outside voices. Number two, so we are all familiar this in pandemic, right? Sa online classes. Even though dili ta magkakita, but still our learning is still continue because of online classes. Third, give students strategies for evaluating the quality of information defined on the internet. We teacher, we are the one who guide our students. And also we give strategies how to evaluate an information. Daghang website nga atong makita sa internet but dili tanan is reliable, dili tanan tinuod. So for example, the www.gov, www.edu is one of the example of mga tinuod nga website. Fourth, be open about one's own strength and limitation with technology and invite students to help. So, dili naman siguro tan estudyante is nakahibaw mo gamit og technologies. Even though ang uban naka-familiar but still dili sila kibaw mo kumi-kumi. So, as a teacher, you encourage your students to help others. So, katong mga nakamao, encourage nimo nga mutabang sa mga dili kay kamao bitaw. Fifth, explore technology students are using outside the classroom and find ways to incorporate them into one's teaching. Use Wiki to develop a multimodal reader's guide to a class text. So we are all familiar sa Wiki sa. So Wiki is a software that fosters collaboration and communication online. So also Wikis enables students to create, comment upon, and revise collaborative projects. 7. Include a broad variety of media and genres in class text. So there is a number 7 sa mo magamit tigit ang pagka-creative ni teacher, pagka-flexible. So there is si teacher is magamit na og different tools and technologies sa iyang klase. Next is students to ask students to create a podcast to share with an authentic audience. So what is podcast? So podcasts are digitalized audio files that are stored on the internet and downloaded to listeners' computers or most likely MP3 players. There is ang mga recorded file. 9. Give student explicit instruction how to avoid plagiarism in a digital environment. So common or familiar na kaya ning plagiarism karon. So one click sa internet na resolve, copy paste then answer. So that is plagiarism. So we teachers we give instruction to our students on how avoid plagiarism. So in what way? So
We encourage our students to create their own ideas. Naanaragod ka sa'yo?
And last, refer to the partnership for 21st Century Skills website.
Daghan na kayo mga website karon sa 21st century education. So we need to adapt those technologies, websites.